Obsessed with it?
How do you know that?
I watch it all the time, but I don't watch like which one Zach Baggins.
Yeah, she don't watch the offensive.
Nobody should be watching Zach Baggins.
I like Ghost Hunters, and then I also do like the TikTok where they actually go on their own little investigations. That's pretty cool.
Interesting piece. So it is the old adage that cold air basically creates cold spots, right? And it's kind of like a cold spot will make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. Like, that's a thing, guys. It's a real thing. So we're using a FLIR thermal imaging camera. So you guys should be able to see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. Sorry, gentlemen, but that means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. That's how that goes. Yeah, this is a good crowd. Now, with that said, we're looking for those cold spots. They're going to be blue and black. What I'm looking for out of them is because we're always going to have blue and black. I'm sure that the windows on the Big John's building are going to be black or blue. But I want them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what I'm looking for when I'm spot checking this particular video.
Have you captured that before?
I have,
Cool.
which is exactly why I'm looking for it again. I will also tell you, with this camera, I've been using this since I started doing the tour 4 years ago. I get probably 4 to 5 solid pieces out of this where I'll put my stamp of approval on it per year, not 12 an episode. Just so you guys know, I'm not a TV show host, okay? So don't get that in your brain right now. Now, I also have this guy set up to where there's a blue dot bouncing around your screen. The blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in that frame at that particular moment. It is, I think it's 66 degrees ambient for us out here. I look for 15 plus degree temperature drops, which means I'm looking for 51 degrees and below out of that blue dot in the event that we don't have a full blue person walking towards us, if you guys are getting my point. If I find one of those blue dots at that particular moment, you will get the screenshot and the marker of where I found it so you can watch it move for yourself. So with this one, Corey, this one's going to you. Okay, we're right on track.
7.4.
So 7.4. You're also going to escalate it, so now nothing below a 7.4. Just keep it going up. Brandon, you got anything coming out of yours?
0.2.
Okay. You're still at a 2.5, so make sure anything above that 2.5 is what we're looking for.
Well, I just got a 0.4.
2.5.
Oh, man.
All right, so this place, by the way, this is where I start withholding information, especially for all you communication device people. This is where I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the Big Red Barn. You're going to get the answers from your communication devices. So, where are you? You are at the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Her mansion used to sit in the front of the space, right where that car is coming out, is facing East Bay Street. And then Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant right behind me and went all the way across. And then the servant and slave quarters were in the back of the space. So that's the layout of the land. Now, who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for those secondary clues. You guys are getting my point. Somebody hears the name Charles, I want another clue so I know how to address them. They're all 3 different men. Now, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. If I don't give them that recognition, they're going to do it for me very nastily through one of your communication devices, probably a spirit box. I've seen it dozens of times, so I just try to make sure I remember every night. Good. Is that what it says? It says we're safe, everybody. We're good. Now, moving on to Eliza. She has
Does that mean they're lying?
Eliza has a much better story. Let's get into her. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it slowly like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14, when young ladies got married. Think of today's standards because her husband was over double her age when they married. It was creepy then, creepy now. So I'm just going to point that out. I don't think there's anybody in the group that has an age gap between them as far as couples go. And I've had to put my foot in my mouth a few times, so that's why I'm looking around at all of you. Now, back to Eliza. She married him because her
I
father...
caught it huge. That's all I caught.
His father thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home to England so he can see them one last time. Eliza did not believe he was dying, and instead, she stayed put right here and got married. It's 1744. You do not get married in that year to get a green card. We are not a country yet, guys. She did marry him out of love. This is a true love story and a respectful woman. So when we are out and about, once I'm done, let's try to be respectful as much as we possibly can. Otherwise, all activity does stop. But anyway, she was correct. Dad did not die right away. And instead, he started sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. That's how we use it now. However, when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not super hot here all the time. So when she learned how to keep it going, she learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop down by the Stoner River, got a hold of Dad and told him the rice plantations were going downhill. They were going to make a killing with this indigo. And she was right. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial days. Something absolutely unheard of.
Yeah.
So that's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. Now, here's what's going to happen.
She's seeing something in that window.
The window has window panes to it. So again,
okay, so that's not going to be, okay. So
Well, this is the
I was
tree.
like, oh, this is exciting.
yeah, ghosts
Is
are
it-
not going to be hanging out on the window going, hey, down there.
They
Also
might.
notice, like, the building is tall. Ghosts are not going to be 50
Well, I
foot
thought
tall
maybe it's
either.
just hanging out up there, you
Yeah.
know, floating.
Well,
maybe.
a lot of people will claim something in the tree. I'm like, no, pirates didn't hang over here. Sorry. Because again, all the leaves and branches. So with all of these communication devices, I'm going to basically kind of throw out a bunch of focus questions based on what type of spirit box you have or communication device. Keep in mind that we do have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder and at least 5 to 6 communication devices. Those answers that you are asking for can go anywhere. That's why I always, even if it was just an inquiry here, I'm going to still use at least 2 communication devices to verify where it's going to go. So that way you guys can kind of keep that in mind. So let's start off with the red spirit boxes. Who has those? So I got Mac. Oh, look, you guys are right next to each other. All right, so you guys are going to be focused on Eliza's death. So 4 major things that we get common answers to: how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So keep that in mind. Your answers can go anywhere. And spirit box. Next set of spirit box, what do we have? So we have the Ouija board, and where's my word list? Who has that? Elena. So the 2 of you are going to be kind of almost in tandem. That's interesting. Yeah. So you're going to be looking for Eliza's initials in order. No anagram, no word scrambled. ELP. You hopefully will be finding what the L means. So I'm not going to tell you what that is, and reason why is because the Eliza I just talked about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife, Eliza, also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. You're going to find out which one. You're going to hopefully get the initials. Does that make sense? Any other words that are being spelled out, please let me know. So the 2 of you, so Trenton and Dina, good with names. So the 2 of you are going to have the same set of questions as well, just based on type of spirit box. The mansion's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it. If you get an answer, we will commonly get 2 to 3 numbers of the exact date of when that occurred. So again, it's not like simple numbers either. I'm just going to point that out. So again, keep in mind you guys could be getting answers from any other device of all the questions that I went out there for. If you go rogue with questions, be respectful. No yes, no questions. I will not be I won't write down yes, no answers. Just so you guys know. If you have a conversation and it's more conversational, I can see that. But yes and no, I throw them out. The word Charleston, you're listening to Charleston radio stations. I will not be writing down the word Charleston or the numbers 843 because that is our area code. Okay, so kind of keep those in mind too. But as far as that goes, I am going to keep Rachel behind. So I can teach her more about that device. Everybody else, we're going to spread out. Please stay away from the 5 to 6 cars that we have left in here, meaning do not go anywhere near those vehicles whatsoever. So just kind of work around them. And then I do 1 or 2 round robins with you guys based on what's going on with your device. I take a few notes and I regroup us and give you all of the answers and show you how what you found pieces this puzzle together. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, everybody spread out besides Rachel. You're going to stick with me. Yes, please. Get you working. All right, so you guys start clearing it out. Perfect.
Can I get away from you?
No, we have to stay together.
Okay, so I just asked if I had to get away from you.
No, you're supposed to keep somebody in frame too.
I've got people in frame.
I'm gonna go over here.
I'm following you.
It scares me every time it makes a noise. Okay, so I'm supposed to ask what happened to the mansion. And I guess you're gonna tell me the year it happened, whatever happened. Okay, I'll just shut up. You talk. I don't remember what he said about the layout of the house. Do you remember? Pretty sure he stroked. think he said the front of the, yes, he said the front of the mansion was this way. And the garden was over here. The garden was over here. Fires start in kitchens or in a hearth of the living room, sifting room. What they call it in the 1700s.
I have no idea.
I don't even know how to ask that as a question. What's a family room called in the 1700s? Where did everyone gather in the house?
DENA getting the gist of how to listen to that? Are you getting it?
Yeah, I mean,
Have you heard anything yet?
I listened to it, but no actual words yet.
If you didn't make it out, then you don't have to hear it.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. No? Oh, yeah, see?
There we go. That's a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, a little bit more out of it. Again, you might want to stick, obviously close. I don't know the relationship between the two of you.
We're married.
Okay. Hey, I've made the mistake like that, and then it was brother and sister.
Oh, dear.
You're fine.
But again, in case you miss something, you'll get the audio.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. Have you seen anything weird with that?
I have not yet.
So just like Kayla's camera, it's small.
Yep.
So again, if I'm not following up with you as much as I am with the communication stuff, which is real time, it's not that I'm neglecting you.
Nope.
I watch that shit later. Like that's the
No
whole
problem.
point. So
I'm just trying to keep somebody in frame as I go, so you got a hot spot, and then
Yep.
if there's anything, it registers.
Exactly. And I usually try to pick the quietest people for the cameras too. So I think maybe Amy wasn't the quietest person to choose, but when she asked for a camera, I'm going to give it to her.
Yeah.
So have you seen anything?
No, I mean, I thought I saw something up there. Did I keep this rolling the entire time?
The time that we're here, yeah.
Okay, so now that he turned up, yep, now I'm getting stuff. So now that he turned up the sensitivity.
Got both here, but
Okay,
Any numbers?
so once again, what happened in the mansion?
good.
What year did it happen? How many children did either of them have? How many chucks were there? Two, I heard two. I don't know if that's right. But I heard two. What room did everybody gather in the most in the mansion? You know what else I want to know? How many rooms did it have to be called a mansion? Was it just a really big house with 4 rooms? Any questions you can think of? Oh yeah, did I already ask this? How many Chucks were there?
Which was his favorite wife?
I don't want to ask that. Which was the favorite wife? Wow. You don't have to answer that. I don't want to know. They were both named Eliza. Oh, that's cheating. I guess you could say wife 1, wife 2. I wonder if Eliza wife 1 had kids with him. I wonder what happened with Eliza wife 1. We move over to back here. There's a recording. Mine's not. I think it said safe. I asked what room this used to be in. I don't know what word that was. I think it said safe. What happened to Eliza?
Hey Nick, it went up to 85.8. Yeah, like I was talking about
Are you sure?
you visited her every night. She knows you're coming, and then it went up to 85.8.
You see what was planned. Yeah. And it's like, it's
I just asked. I said,
every time she mentions her name, it
like the visitor?
I think you're right. What year did you guys get married? Ooh, I was supposed to ask how old. No, I wasn't supposed to ask. I was just supposed to ask what happened in the house. But I still want to know how old she was when they got married.
All right, everybody, let's rein this one in. Come on over. We got that 85. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, he did. She's got it.
Amy, you got anything else on there? Maybe some window stuff? Dina, did you it down to number 2, obviously, because you heard it, especially
Yeah.
coming out of that. It might be relevant to something else. Did anybody hear the number 2? I think I saved earlier on the...
Interesting.
Where were you standing when that happened?
Over, like, kind of by the manhole cover thing.
Where the servant slave quarters were.
I heard the word deed after I called you. Deed. And I said deed just came through, and then it says came or go through. Go through. Yeah, and then it said go through right after that. I'm like,
Stop listening
to me.
Yeah, stop listening.
All right. So, Brandon, any other numbers? Where'd he go?
Oh, he wasn't feeling well. He needed to go to the car.
I was going to say, wait, that was the tallest person we had.
Yeah, he's a diabetic.
Oh, I got you.
Oh.
Fair enough. So, are you guys going to just hang on to his EMF meter then?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with it. Yeah, that's cool.
Either way. So the only thing I'm like super was excited about was that 85 that we just got out of Angel's device. So she had an 85 milligauss. Let me explain what that means based on things around your home so you guys get the reference. By the way, if you have a camera, go ahead and hit those stop buttons, give your hands a break. So your TV runs about 40 to 60 milligauss if you were to put that device behind there, depending on how many things you have plugged into your TV set. We got up to an 85, which is above your TV set. Your microwave heating up your food and you put that up next to it, it's going to read about 150 to 170. So that thing goes up to 200. The highest I've ever seen that device go was just about 2 weeks ago. It errored out 3 times while we were here and stayed in triple-digit numbers for the entire duration. Again, I have epilepsy. That worries me. I actually left here with a pretty big pounding headache, but it pretty much relieved itself 15 to 20 minutes after we left. Again, these are the things of why I'm like, okay, she got to an 85. Eliza's kind of giving a little bit of like, hey, we're asking about like, hey, Nick comes here every night. How do you feel about that kind of stuff? She gave you an 85. It's usually a good sign because again, it's not a horrific place, right?
I just asked if she liked you visiting and looks forward to you visiting every night because she knows you're coming. So.
Well, here's the ironic thing about this whole piece of why I love to come here. I change my route every single year. I take out one space and I add one new one. I tried to take this one out because I was getting very rude ghost hunters on your end. Like they would kind of show up and Eliza, let's go, and then they go take a leak in the corner. So I was getting a lot of nasty messages through your spirit boxes, and I wasn't searching for them. They happened. And I'm not talking about radio chatter. I'm talking about disembodied voices saying, please just leave us the hell alone, over 13 different radio stations. Guys, I do this for a living. So when I see a disembodied voice, I know what it is, and I can analyze it. I have the software. So I came back a few weeks after. I was getting some nasty messages, and I basically sat over there next to that wall and made a little pact with Eliza. Every night before I meet with you guys on the corner 1 block away, I walk through here, and I have all your names written down. I tell her how many people I'm bringing and what all of your names are. I do it every single night. It's just a respect piece. So that's why when I said we're going to be here and be respectful, I tell her I'm going to teach you guys to be respectful while we're here. Not that we had any issues tonight. The fact that you asked about her children in a very layman term manner, I'm excited about that, but none of you asked horrific questions. So thank you for that. The children, I don't actually give you guys questions about the children. You're about to see why. So let's kind of cover these answers and kind of see what we have going on here.
Well, because I knew you said that they had a son named Chuck, or Charles, right?
Yep.
But I was like, well, how many other kids did you have?
Right. This is Eliza Lucas Pinkney. So for those of you looking for her maiden name with the L, Lucas is the second wife, Lamb is the first one. So Eliza Lamb Pinkney was the first wife. This Eliza, like I've already said, married Charles when she was 22. Charles was 45. Creepy then, creepy now. Yes, I've had to put my foot in my mouth on a 23-year age gap on a couple in my tour. The funniest part of whenever that happened is I actually had our newspaper following us around with all the crazy news cameras. And they were recording every damn thing I say. And it was a big running joke all night long. But anyway, let's see. What happened to the mansion?
Yes.
This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. So again, whenever we get the word fire, burning, or blaze coming out of any type of spirit box, we'll often get 2 or 3 numbers from the dates, like I said. So 12, 11, 61, very specific numbers. I will also tell you, this should show you how I learn about what I'm teaching you guys all night long. I learned about this fire from somebody getting the word fire, 11, 12, 61, all in the same evening, and it wasn't the first time that it occurred. I had to look for the relevance. That's why I say, tell me all the silly shit that you guys are hearing. I never know what sticks. You heard what?
Help?
It's kind of what those get out pieces that I look at.
Okay.
So help and get out. Yeah, and
There's a button
appreciate.
back there. I just pushed. Sorry.
You're okay. If I was worried about it, I would have told you.
Okay.
Now, this is a map of Charleston. This should show you how big the fire was.
Oh gosh.
went from one side of the peninsula all the way to the other. Every tour you guys are going to take here in town is going to show you or tell you about some kind of great fire because we've literally had dozens. I'm going to shout out from the rooftops that my fire is the biggest. I'm just one of those people. By the way, you are standing on a tiny green dot right there if you guys can see that zoomed in. This is about $9 million worth of damage back then. I don't know what it equates to now. Yeah. So, let's get into the kids. Yeah, sure. Brilliant.
Yeah.
4 kids grand total.
Oh, okay.
Normally, if you're poking the bear and you're asking like, hey, why is it? Any of your children die tragically? She will tell you that she had 3 kids. In other words, don't ask about the tragic time. That's why I stopped giving the questions to strangers. I just tell you what I look for when I get back to the office. Here's how this goes. First child you already know about, Charles,
Right.
signer of the Constitution. Next child, Thomas, fought in a Revolutionary War battle, shot in his left leg, captured by the British. When they released him, he was left on a cane and a limp for the rest of his days. You guys got nothing that was relevant to Thomas out of all of your stuff. I'm just telling you what I look for. The next child is the tragic one. Why I don't give you the questions. George. George died in June of 1747. He was also born in June of 1747. His death certificate only says June of 1747 in both the birth and death columns. We do not have dates for this child. Which means we don't know how old he was. Like, I can take a really good guess. Back then, you would not name a child until they were christened. That takes at least 2 weeks after birth if you know the child is ill. I'm going to guess that George was at least 2 weeks old when he passed away, minimum. He also doesn't have a headstone and he does not have a grave. A little weird, right? Let me explain that. The church may have mummified him, or like allow the family to mummify him so he could be kept right here in the home inside of a tomb, waiting for mom to pass away so he could be buried with her. So it's creepy and endearing all at the same time. So kind of think of it that way. Now, and you're like, I just walked around where the damn tomb was.
Yeah.
Now, the next child, last one. I don't hear from her very often, so I'm really brief. Her name was Harriet. She's the only daughter, and she married Daniel Ori. If you don't know our coast, Myrtle Beach is in Ori County. It's 2.5 hours north of here. It wouldn't have been a 2.5 hour car ride for Eliza, guys. There's no cars. Lots of letter writing. So if we hear from Harriet, which isn't very often, over a year now since I've heard from her, quill, ink, paper, published, anything relative to letter writing, because it's really the only tie that we have to, this home for her. Eliza's death. Eliza was 70 years old when she passed away. You have the word 50, right, on your word list? So she was 70 years old when she passed away. I'll point out that is a long time for a woman to be alive during colonial days. She was going to Philadelphia, getting treatments, whatever they thought she had. It turned out to be breast cancer. We didn't know what that was in 1793, the year that she passed away. We're going based off her medical records. Now, she died in Philly, and she's buried in Philly. That should raise 2 questions for you. First one, baby George. If my theory is true, they would have transported his tomb from here all the way to Philadelphia by horse and carriage. You guys all look old enough to play Oregon Trail, or at least remember that damn game. Somebody's going to get dysentery on that trip. It's at least 3 weeks long. Second question in the back of your brain should be, if Eliza's buried up in Philadelphia, what the hell are we doing here? I don't take you to cemeteries. Reason being, it's minimal activity at best. You guys are going to hang out and stare at your headstone when you're gone. You're going to go to your mansions 400 miles away because that's where the raised emotion is for you. That's exactly why we're here. She got her indigo here. She raised her family here. You guys are getting the point. Ghost hunting isn't always the horrific things that they show you on TV. They do that for the raised emotion of your fear, of the unknown. That's why they do it. Ghost hunting is learning about the history of and showing the respect that they actually deserve. These were people. So that's kind of the mentality I like to keep. Who wants to take a guess who the president was that was the pallbearer at the funeral? Where's my history buffs?
What year was it again?
1793. It was not that guy. Adams is your guess? Yeah. Anybody else want to take a stab?
I teach math.
If my child were here, he'd know.
I'm a math teacher.
Washington.
I'm actually, it was Washington. Now, let me explain. I was actually excited when you gave me the wrong answer. Let me explain. Okay. When we got over here, I told you guys I'm not going to give you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse. I do that on purpose every night. I subliminally put George Washington in the back of all of your brains, waiting to see who's going to give me George Washington when I do my round robins, and I normally take your spirit box and give it to whoever they came with, because I don't want her repeating all the same shit I've already said. I think she took a wild stab in the dark.
I did.
So,
I really did.
So I'm not going to take her spirit box because she's really excited about it. But you guys get my
I didn't
point.
hear Washington over the spirit box, I swear.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't. That's actually how I learned about it. But the point is that you're probably not going to hear Washington coming out of there. It's unlikely. So if somebody tells me that during my round robin, I'm like, you didn't hear that from your spirit box.
No, I did not.
So back to Washington. At his own request, he wanted to pay homage to Eliza based on the Indigo guys. It helped get our country started. It was a big deal to him. And let's face it, most of the Pinckney men were politicians. You think he didn't know his 13 governors? Come on. That's kind of really put it in perspective. So you guys are really appreciating some of the history. I see a lot of head nods, so that's really cool. I appreciate that. So we could have gotten Big John things over here and Pinckney Mansion stuff over there. That's what I call bleed over. So basically we're close enough in proximity, even though they're from 2 different centuries. I know that might not make any sense, especially since he's 21st century, or 20th century, and you guys are getting the point. But where we're going, I'm relying on that bleed over because we're going into an alley. Other tours may be in there. Yes, we'll be discussing the same story. I'm going to give you more details because you're not on a campfire marshmallow kind of ghost tour. You have to ghost hunting. You need the details. So we're going to go in there. I'm going to stir shit up and kind of tell you what goes on there, and we're going to leave. We're going to go across the street. I'll give you another piece of history, and you'll get answers from all of your communication from both locations at that spot and along the way to the alley. Here's how this goes. EMF readers, ignore your readings along the way. The parking meters and crosswalks make your devices go off. They're underneath your feet. That's where the electrical lines for that is. All cameras, no recording until we get into the alley. You're going to keep the belly shot like I was telling Kayla about. So you're going to keep it nice and low. Other tours are maybe in there. They do not pay to get filmed. So kind of keep that in mind. So just kind of keep them nice and low. And when you guys will know when we're in the alley, when we make a left onto a little brick alley, just so you guys know what that actually looks like. Spirit boxes and communication devices, including DENAs, you guys will be listening the entire time along the way. So you guys are going to tell me what you guys hear once we get into the alley so I can write it all down. Now that I've shown you how these clues can piece together, you will all get better at this. I promise you. Some of you are looking at me like, I didn't hear squat, that kind of thing. You may have missed it. That's the whole point. You're not good at this. What I asked you to do with your ears is not easy to do. Spirit box work is the hardest thing out here, but it just happens to be my forte because I listen to these recordings literally every single day. That's what I do for a living. So when I get called to another paranormal team, it's normally because of what I can do to spirit box. I can listen to them on any level, and I'm really great at the Estes method. We're going to talk about that later on. Does anybody not know what the Estes method is?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, fun surprise at the end, guys. We'll talk about that as we get closer to it. Wow, this is actually going to be very interesting. Because for those of you that do know what it is, you're like, oh my god, he's really going to pull off the Estes method out here? Yep, we sure as hell are. Let's go talk about killing people. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys got really quiet on me. We're going to go this way.
I was gonna guess it was George Washington as a pallbearer just because there's something with it.
There's actually there's 3 Georges relevant to this space.
Really?
Yeah, so we have Baby George, we have Washington.
Right.
But Eliza's father was also named George. And now that you know her maiden name, which was Lucas, that makes her father Colonel George Lucas.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I got the picture.
And I stopped telling them.
Did they know George Washington? Like, is that why he was like?
Yep, sure did.
Is that why George Baby got his name?
No,
Oh.
George was actually named after Eliza's father.
Oh, makes sense.
I quit telling the George Lucas joke because teenagers were thinking that I was saying that her father invented Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I just took that out, that they weren't getting the timeline of it. So I was like, yeah, I need to stop that joke. Doesn't work.
Wow, Marcus still open?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Check.
Beard feels fluffy today for some reason. You see me tapping on it, and like it just feels weird. I'm just waiting for everybody to kind of come around the corner. He's on his phone too.
Yeah.
Welcome to Saturday Nights in Charleston.
Man, we ride a motorcycle, so like when I'm on the back, there's nothing for me to do but like look at people.
Yeah.
You would not believe how many people are on their phone when they're driving.
And I expect you to, as you help me.
What you actually do is zigzag.
Okay.
Test here, test here.
I thought you were going to be my quiet one of the night. Usually quite the chatterbox. I'll be back to black for you.
Us quiet ones surprise you sometimes.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm
Well, that's
quiet.
part of the reason why I gave her the spirit box. I was hoping to like bring something out. Like, so,
It was. You're quiet.
Well,
Yes, exactly. I'm quiet until I'm not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. You picked the right one. You're literally the one in the video game who walks around trying to talk to everyone.
You know what time I get up every morning? No, because I don't hear you.
I don't like a lot of real people, but I like the not real people.
I knew them. I don't know.
You're more like the living. They were real.
Look, I just noticed it has a little strappy strap on it.
That's more polite music than we play.
I listen to metal music.
That's
So
what
do
we
we.
used to do.
My husband's in a metal band locally. Her boyfriend's in a metal band. So yeah, we blast our metal.
Yep, same.
When we ride the bike, we blare that.
Yep.
You would not believe how many people look at us like,
I have subs and stuff in my Jeep. I have the windows down and I blast it too. So it's alright. I get looks too.
Y'all are local?
no.
No, he's here for work, and I just came for the weekend to visit.
Yeah, I'm semi-local.
I'm from, well, we're both from Ohio, but he's Findlay, between Toledo
In Lima?
and Lima.
Okay.
Do y'all know where Stowe is? It's tiny. My dad was born there.
Oh, cool. Well, we also know we're never supposed to tell anybody we're from Ohio down here because that's a thing.
That's a thing.
It
Keep
is.
that a secret.
Everybody from Ohio moved here, apparently.
Yeah.
Everybody from the north comes south, right? It's okay.
Well, if you look it up online, Ohio hates Michigan, which we all know that.
Right?
Michigan
Fair.
hates Ohio, and
Yeah.
Charleston, or not Charleston specifically, but South Carolina hates Ohio. It's the only two states that hate Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Pretty, but I feel like he's about to tell us it's not pretty.
Alright. We hear anything on there along the way?
No.
You weren't working, you're fired.
Okay, cool, thanks.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Who else? You got any words being spelled out?
No, just random letters. No vowels. So
Three in here?
now we're getting some action here.
Staying in that covering
WX.
range though, so Andrew, you got anything coming out of yours?
Absolutely nothing.
With this location, I normally look for an 8 or above because the lamppost will give us a little bit of EMF from where we're standing. I always choose this spot here by the gate. We were on Matthew.
I heard something like take care, but that was really good.
Take care. Anybody else with communication? What do we got?
We're list in the past.
Okay, give me the last 4 or 5 terms.
Smell it.
Okay.
Chant.
I don't have to write yours down. It's doing it for me. I'm just listening.
Oh, sorry. Chant. Mentor.
Okay.
Recuse.
Had that term here before. Teaching on there too. Did we talk about that?
Yep.
We sure did. I'm interested. See if anything else actually popped up. Interesting piece. Those of you with cameras, obviously get them up and running, but you don't need to keep them on me in here, especially with yours, Corey,
Okay.
because there's enough foliage in here to get the hot and cold between the brick and the foliage. But again, if people are going to be cutting through us, even just regular passersby, just kind of be discreet. We will split the C's like what they just did for us, and I will pause and step backwards so they can pass through. Just be discreet with your cameras, even if you point them down, which is perfectly fine. Where's my other one, Kayla? Where are you at? Oh. She's wearing dark clothing and face the opposite way. I'm like, I know we're missing something. So, Kayla, we are going to completely understand if you just grab the handle and point it down when people pass by. So, that gentleman that was just up there, by the way, my first thought when we walked through them was like, okay, I'm sold out, which means he gets the extra 4 people that wanted to do this. Sorry, I'm just kind of bragging on myself a little bit. Which, again, we normally run into groups like 20 or more from some of the competitors around here. I'm surprised like we're not seeing those folks down here tonight. Like, I'm actually shocked. And I don't time this, so it's a matter of like we just go from space to space. Oh, I'm sorry, Trenton. I didn't ask you. Did you hear anything along the way?
I did not.
Sorry, you're super quiet too, man. Oh, here you talking. Interesting. So whenever I'm going over history, I am going to ask you to mute. My ear is trained to listen to that, and I will get lost in where I'm at with the.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Don't apologize. You didn't know. It's okay. It's just I'm the weirdo guy, where I'm like all I want to do is listen to white noise and static.
Question: do you get anything on here that'll say something and then it resays it immediately right after?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I had that
just said-
earlier with Better Business. Well, it wasn't like immediate,
Well, this one,
immediate, but it said
It just said things are great, and then just
So here's an example, because I did study radio waves in school too. So 106.1 and 106.2 are basically the same station, but one's on a delay.
Yeah.
That's why you're
So
getting
you get
that little bit of a double feature kind of mentality. So it is the same station, same signal. That's why I always look for things that are, if it's a disembodied voice, I try to make sure it's at least 5 radio station pulses to make sure it's not the same thing going over again and not a DJ.
Yeah, mine did it the rounds.
Yeah.
So each round, like it said it.
Yeah, and a lot of times people are like, oh, I just heard AC/DC, and then 2 minutes later they heard it again. I'm like, yeah, it's going through every station thousands of times for you. They're like, why is it on every station? I'm like, it's not, it's the same station. But anyway, so let's talk about why we're here. So this is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Duelers Alley, which used to be where they basically had some of the duels here for Charleston. And I say some because it was illegal. You had to find hiding spots. This just happens to be one of them. Every ghost tour, like I said, tells the same story. I'm going to give you different details. Let's kind of get into it. So go ahead and do a hard reset there for me, Rachel, because you're going to be looking for the initials RI. That's going to make sense here in just a minute.
Okay.
So a doctor moves down here. He comes down here from Rhode Island. There's your first RI. So he comes down here. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you listening to Spirit Boxes right now, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after her money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes here to Charleston to prove that he's not after the money. He's going to make his own. So he comes down, and he's going to start his medical practice, but the coachman that he had that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It was like having a really bad Uber driver on their phone all the time, right? Like what we just saw. So anyway, somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. He knew the coachman and what he was going to try to do to this newcomer coming to Charleston. The person walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. Sound familiar with the initials? It's exactly why I bought the device that Rachel's holding. We were getting the letters RI, like people trying to spell out like victorious, and I would only get the RI part of it, so I wanted to verify it. So I bought a new device. That's what I do. So we've gotten it about half a dozen times in the year that I've had it whenever I bring up Ralph's name. So again, these are the things that I look at, just so you know how detailed I get with some of these stories. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from these friends of mine, and you'll be safe. Doc took him up on the offer. Two gentlemen become friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He is not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. She gets wind of this, and she's moving down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is part of the reason why I hate this damn story. It's a cliche. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. There's some legitimacy to this one, and this guy just won't leave me alone. I will explain here in just a few minutes. This is actually the space I was going to take out this year. But again, I just keep getting too much from this guy. So anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money than Ralph. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So they talk about these plays that they go to see on their way home. And one night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and Dr. Ladd is arguing that the new actress he just saw was fantastic. Ralph disagreed, thought she was horrible. Argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly. They went their separate ways. Now, Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of going, you're a disgrace to society kind of bullshit. Doc saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Duelers Alley. Let's settle this. Somebody's going to die. Yeah, all this over an actress, by the way. Just going to point that out. So the two gentlemen came down, back to back, took the 10 paces away, turned, Doc points his gun in the air, shoots his one shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up to a fight, which is often what happened at a duel. Ralph has his one bullet still. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die, but Ralph proved his point. He's not going to forgive. He's still pissed. Doc fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. I say that date kind of slowly because I'm going to point out two things. 1786. Gunshot wounds back then are a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But obviously, he failed because he died. And every ghost story that comes down here tells you to listen for the whistles. You hear how quiet it is? It's always like this. This is a busy Saturday night. It's like this on a Saturday afternoon. It's actually one of my most favorite places in all of Charleston because it's so tranquil. Now, if you're going to try this on your own, which by the way, we are running 3 video cameras plus my voice recorder. If we're going to get a whistle, disembodied whistle, it's going to come through on one of those 4 devices. Spirit boxes, especially the one that's recording. Who did I give the recordable one to? So that would be Matthew.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon for me to get the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. I don't find that coincidental, especially since it's happened dozens of times in the 4 years I've been coming here. Do you have anything weird going on? You kind of had like this weird shrug about it.
I just got an R, but no I yet.
No I yet. Okay. So anyway, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through and try to get the whistles from the voice recorders on your phone, just keep in mind that every local knows this damn story, and anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single day. My garage, we used to be over there, and my office is up this way. So at 4 in the morning, when I'm done with your guys' data, uploading it, I would always walk past and upload, or throw, I was going to say upload a whistle to the alley.
I thought it was you whistling.
I thought it was
Is it
you.
bird?
No,
I thought it was you.
No, it was like right behind us, and this behind this.
I literally thought it was her.
I thought
I
it
thought
was
it was too.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Who was recording?
We both went. Yeah, because we were. I was like, did you hear
I'm
that?
recording.
Yeah. We heard a whistle. And they heard it.
I heard it too, but I could have swore.
I thought it was
I thought it was Elena.
I thought it was her
I
too.
thought it was her too, but it was right
Is
after you
this
said
all?
that.
It
So I
was
like,
like, oh, someone's being funny.
Right.
See that thing? Like,
Yes.
we're talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah,
That
right,
right
yes.
here. It was like a,
Yeah.
And
almost
what's
like a
weird is
whistling
there shouldn't be
chittering.
anybody on the other side of this wall because it's locked up. It belongs to the church.
That's what I was going to ask if anybody.
I
could be
was
on the
just
other
about to ask
side.
that too.
Nope. It's actually gated off. It's a courtyard for the church.
Did you get that?
Well, we have it all
Oh,
on
we're
audio.
climbing.
Got enough
We're
things
climbing.
recording.
Yeah.
we went 4, 5, 6.
Again, above an 8 is where I get excited.
This is 4.1. Is it because of you said the light?
Usually the lamps will give us up to like a 7, so I go straight to an 8.
Oh,
Like
okay.
where I'm gonna like count that as like maybe being paranormal.
Okay.
But I also throw a whistle down this alley every time I walk by it, whether it's day or night, because I've been thrown out of here. Let's talk about that.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So this will
How
also
do you get
show-
thrown out of an alley?
You'll see. Now, the alley didn't go all the way through this way before it was Duller's Alley. There was a wall halfway between where we're standing and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this used to be called Cow Alley before it was Duller's Alley. So that means they kept all the livestock down here, cows, chickens, and goats. So that was nicknamed Cow Alley. What does that mean for you? That means that the bricks down on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks down by Queen Street, actually sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child in one of those bricks down there, and fingerprint swipes in others. I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson. There's nothing paranormal about it. Remember, I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not going to be there. It's the last place you're going to find him. November 26th, 2020. Told my group, just pass by it. I'll point out where it is. You guys want to take a quick picture, but we're going to keep moving. They did not keep moving. They stood around it in a big giant circle of 10 people waiting for something to happen from their gear, even though I told them nothing's going to happen. Well, I was also trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley because we were standing right outside his dining room window. He came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great. She was on the tour that night. Her dad's getting yelled at. She's all about it. She thought it was hysterical. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on major holidays because I worked for Walmart for over 10 years in upper management. You guys all like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life about working on Thanksgiving. So I moved on. The next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I did have at the time and I told him what happened. He's the guy I'm learning about tourism from. And he's laughing at me too. He's just like my daughter did. He's like, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. Otherwise, it's residential. Reroute that group. I'm sold out again, guys. It's Black Friday. Here's what I told my group. I don't believe in the next story. I'm into vampires, not pirates. Obviously, we're discussing pirates next. And I'm like, I've never had anything happen over there. I've been there dozens of times. Got nothing. So we're going to go over there. We'll talk about pirates, and we'll see what we can get. Well, before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be looking at. You think mainly Blackbeard and all of the majors, right? We're going to be discussing Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. So it's kind of like, oh shit, maybe we're going to get something. We get over there. I told them the little bit I did know. Remember, there's only a few hours to do quick research, so I can continue on. Somebody else, here's the number 300. I don't know what that one means. Wrote it down, do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I normally get the woes and the wows. I was actually pissed off. Let me explain. First off, I've already told you I wasn't into pirates. I can't say that now. But the problem for me is that I have a master's degree in creative writing. No matter what I'm writing, whether it be fiction, nonfiction, journalism, and when I'm doing this, I need facts and data to be able to interpret what's going on. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy. That's a problem for me. That means I have to read more damn books to verify the shit we're catching. So that's a big problem. I've read more books on pirates, watched more documentaries, and even played video games to get a different version of the story. So where we're going is a minimum of 2 resources of everything that will fall out of my mouth when we get over there. Just so you guys know, I am still researching pirates to this very day and how to debunk some of the legends and lore around them. It is a fun story, and we will be able to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site, just so you guys have that idea. You will hopefully get things from Dr. Ladd here from the alley as well, so kind of keep that in mind. Now, before we leave the space, I also like to explain the gate behind me. This gate, this will also show you extent of my research. I told you there was a wall up here, right? So if there was a loser to the duel over this way, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of that wall. Otherwise, they gotta walk all the way down to Queen Street and double back with a dead body before they can go celebrate the winner with a pint. So I like to call this the Death Gate. Even though the wrought iron was probably put here in the early 1900s, you guys can see that the original archway to the doorway is original to the alley itself. There's also other rumors for you locals here in the group that Andrew Jackson actually had a duel down here. I can find nothing on that rumor in myth and legend. I was very intrigued by it, but I could find no research or data from it whatsoever. Not to mention, I mean, the dude was a president. They're going to hide that kind of shit, right? So we're going to scramble in front of this group here, and we're going to go learn about pirates. So, rated R pirates, by the way. Does anybody know the joke if a pirate's favorite letter isn't R? What is it? Must be the C. If my daughter were here, hearing me like tell those dad jokes right now, I'd be getting punched in the arm, like constantly.
What? Must be the sea?
Got it.
Bye-bye.
You guys all watch the TV shows and YouTubers. You guys have seen the Boo Buddy. I know you have. It's the teddy bear with the little blinky light K2 meter in it. If a child comes near it, they would recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. We don't have any buildings this old, let alone in Charleston, but in South Carolina. So this is just something Anne would recognize as being from her era. So let's kind of get into this. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Sometimes people take that like a little like, stop talking about the government. So I'm glad you didn't, so I appreciate that. FBI agents do not like my government jokes, so you guys know. I've had them on the tour. But anyway, so 1708 is where our history begins. I will speed through this one so we can get to work, but I will slow down on the few piratey female twists that will show up, and it's right at the beginning. So 1708, a young lady moves here with her father from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far? The three of them running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off was the wife that she kicked them out of the country. So I normally make the joke that be nice to your lady, she'll kick you all the way to Canada. So by airplane. That's a luxury they didn't have back in 1708. They came here by boat. They landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, in case you don't know our coast. Dad bought a plantation up there, and Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here from Georgetown to sell things from the plantation to help keep it going. Now, Anne back home in Ireland, we're going to take a step backwards for 2 seconds just to show you her mentality. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly when Anne was only 7, 8, or 9 years old. So kind of put that mentality of her in your brain as we kind of go through this. Do you know this story already, Kayla? You're nodding your head like...
No, I'm just like, wow.
Oh, there's a lot more coming. Hang on. Hopefully you got a no shit bar, because it's coming. Now, fast forward, the building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at that point. So, the first guy she fell in love with, and I said it slowly because there's a handful. We're covering them all, just so you know. That's what makes the story so good. The first guy happens to be James Bonney. You already know where this is going. I told you her pirate name already. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonney. We're obviously talking about an Irish woman the day before St. Patrick's Day, by the way. So it might be an interesting piece. So And when they get down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wanted. She falls in love again. Guy number 2, John Rackham. Everybody calls this guy Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy really is. Calico Jack has his own ship. He has his own crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? All the
Baby pirates?
a bunch of baby pirates. I like how you tried to put it family friendly. That's the first time that's ever happened. I normally get I'm not answering that dirty question. Who is this guy? It's bad luck. You guys are overthinking it. And that's the reason why I do it, is to make sure everybody's still paying attention. So thank you for the laugh. We all appreciated it. So it is bad luck. So Jack makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this. Reason why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But let's all put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant and have little baby pirates. So before she starts to show her pregnancy, you can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew, by the way. Like, somebody will figure it out and they'll get rid of Jack as captain. So before she starts to show, he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby over here with these friends of mine that will help you out and come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to the baby, by the way. None of my research has ever discovered it. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. To make him even more pissed off, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. They don't know who Anne is. So, with that, we're on guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So, her and Mary became friends, maybe lovers, we're not really sure because of the time frame. But the British found out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks, because obviously they don't know how to use cannon yet. Now, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns are not going to take on a whole fleet of Navy ships with cannons. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, "Jack, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you had fought like a man, you would be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up in communication quite a bit. We actually had something very interesting show up. I'll tell you guys about that after we're kind of wrapping things up, because I don't want to spoil anything. But the dog piece is very interesting. Now, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates. They're dead and gone. So the 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, and the judge could give a shit that they are female. They are still pirates. He's still going to hang them. So and they scream out, "We plead our bellies," which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career. That's not speculative fiction. Like, we can assume a lot of things. We just can't prove any of it. Now, Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination, call it scurvy, don't care. Most books will tell you that it was like something simple like fever, and was like, let's make it romantic, let's make it scurvy. Now, I'm not going to control this environment like what we did over there at the Pinckney Mansion site with the prominent English lady, right? So this is a pirate. I usually say if you brought a bottle of rum and smokes, have at it. It might attract her. I'm just going to tell you a few things that I left out. Everything else you ask is free will. Have at it. Hopefully you get a full conversation out of this. Again, this is a kick-ass pirate lady. She's not going to really care about your language either. So kind of keep that in mind. Know your ghost. That's my mentality. I did not tell you the names of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I didn't tell you what those were, but yes, I know what their names are. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland. That should be very interesting considering what day of the week we're on, all right, or the month. The name of Calico Jack's ship, and the name or the color of Anne Bonny's hair. Everything else is fair game. If you ask about the child that happened in Cuba, I can't prove anything. I don't know any of her children's names, so if you have a conversation with her, it is personal to you, and unless it's like super lucrative and productive, I'm not going to count it as actual evidence. It'll just be your personal experience. I'm only looking for things that I can actually prove. Is that fair to everybody? All right. EMF readings. I get excited about 2.5s in here, just so you have that idea. Where are my EMF readers? So Angel, and then obviously Amy has it now. So, and it's usually on the back half. Parking meters and 2 electrical poles over there, they're going to give you guys between, I would say, a 3 to a 7. So if you get closer to there and you get those kind of numbers, I'm not stoked. Get above like a double digit, I'm stoked. Back here, if you get a 2.5, I'm super stoked. You should be getting zeros while you've been in here, which is weird because the Earth gives off EMF. We should be getting at least a 1, but we're not. So this is just a weird space. And again, I'll do my round robin with us here, and I'll know pretty quickly based on what's going on, like what's actually happening, if we have anybody, or if Dr. Ladd followed us over here. So kind of keep that in mind as well. All right, guys, spread out. Let's get to work. Let's do it.
I got the word win.
Wimp?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have been a term.
I don't know. I got it all right.
All right. Yeah.
So Anne Bonnie was her name,
I think so.
but then I want to know about her parents' names. Well, I guess it would have been her father, his mistress. Oh, did I unmute you?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I read it. I was like, maybe
Probably
she's
did.
not.
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. I pushed it. But nothing's happening. What do you ask a pirate?
I like how she went off.
Was rum your favorite?
Yeah, well, you can't ask yes, no, or questions. What type of rum? Was there types of rum back in the 1700s?
I'm sure. You might want to ask him if it's unmuted.
Okay. I don't know. Let me push it again. Nope, I'm pretty sure it was unmuted. I'm just not getting anything. What was in this spot? Why are we here? Oh, because she would recognize the building. Muffin, I'm gonna kick your ass. Oh my gosh. People are gonna hear that. I want to know what happened to Mary, too. No, I'm not getting anything. Anne must not like us. Must not be raunchy enough for her. Piratey enough.
You can always provoke her. She was a woman.
How do I provoke her?
She wasn't a man.
Huh?
She wasn't a man. It was a man's world, remember? She had to dress like a man.
And act like a man. So she probably farted a lot. And she probably was stelchy and gross.
Nah.
So she had the child in Cuba, and then he said she had 4 more after that?
No, one more.
1 more.
And he doesn't know any facts about.
And she was from Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Did he say what her? Oh yeah, he said her maiden name. I don't remember it.
You should be hearing something by now.
No, I'm not getting anything. I'll go ask him.
So we may have just touched something on the front, or maybe we didn't have volume pushing it through. Because if the volume's down, the adjustable noise control is almost like a muffle. It kind of keeps that stuff out. So if the muffle was pressed down too far, you're not going to hear anything.
Right.
There's also a weird signal here. So the other spirit boxes are hearing weird things too. So it's just a weird space in general.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, she does not like me, so I'm not getting nothing. Yeah, let's go back here. Maybe it's the street lights she doesn't like.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, 118.
guess I should continue asking what I was asking up front. Asking about what town she was from in Ireland. That's definitely a girl talking. You're such a skeptic.
I'm not. I'm listening. I'm hearing the physical facts.
Bad? Bad.
What's bad?
I heard the word bad.
I know. I said, what's bad?
Oh, I don't know. What's bad? That was a guy that said bad. I still want to know what town. I was literally going to say that word. Thank you. I want to know what town she was from in Ireland. I said town. Ireland. I just heard Ireland. So bad town, Ireland. Here. Okay, but no. I need to write these down. Huh?
That was a yes.
I said no and they said yes. Don't argue with a pirate, I guess. Where's he at? Because I'm getting lots of words down. I can't remember them all. Oh, good job. We got a camera. Good job. Oh yeah, something about a dog too. What about the dog? The female just keeps making noises. God? Did you hear God? The guy's voice. What happened to Mary? I guess she probably wouldn't know. They probably couldn't communicate after that. Did he say? Did he say if she had children after she was done being a pirate? One after her piracy? Okay. Did he say the child's name? No. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Oh, you don't. Okay, I was making sure you didn't have this car in front. River?
It's like river again.
Oh, I know. I want to know what happened in June. He said June was interesting, that she got that on her word listy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whale? And I want to know the father's name and the mistress's name. And if the mom kicked out the dad because of the mistress. Or if maybe the mom was like winchy and that's why he got a mistress.
You got anything now?
Lots.
Like what?
Oh my gosh, so many. Okay, we got bad. We got river twice. I was literally asking what town in Ireland she was from, and it said town.
Okay.
What else did we get?
You got bad twice when you were asked about Charleston.
Oh.
Let's get you away from the park.
Sorry.
I try to keep this.
I know. I said, and then I said, where in Ireland were you from? And they said here, and I said no, and then it said yes, and I was like, okay, well we can argue.
Conversational, yeah, and that's what I mean by conversational. Like
Right.
they're going to give you vague terms, but it feels like it's part of the conversation kind of mentality, and almost felt like an argument.
Right. That's exactly what I said. I was like, all right, we'll argue.
But I like the fact that you heard the word town when you asked what town she was from.
Yes.
So that's interesting. So like that kind of correlates. Like I put a star by it just so I remembered like what this actually meant.
Right.
Anything else crazy?
It's recorded because I was like,
Yeah.
I need to write it down. There's so many words coming through. We keep hearing there's a guy and then there's a girl too.
So as far as gender, I don't care.
Okay.
Unless it's disembodied, it's the only time I pay attention to that.
Okay.
Think of that thing as Bumblebee from Transformers.
Gotcha.
He didn't have a voice.
Gotcha.
He just used
He was so
Clint
cute.
Eastwood.
I love Bumblebee.
But it just used the radio to talk to us.
Yeah. Okay.
It always happened to be Clint Eastwood for some odd reason. Movie quotes. But it worked. We got the idea. All right. Who else has a communication device?
I guess now we could ask her about the rum. We got bad again. Oh, and whale. I forgot to tell them about whale.
And water, you just said water.
I just said water. Well, water would make sense. She was a pirate. We said water again. I'm 90% sure I just said water again. Got it. Lots of water.
It says spider crawl across me in the camera.
Yeah. I wonder what she died from. He said at 84? I'm pretty sure it just said yes when I said 84. But I don't know if it was 84.
What's the significance of the powder house?
Huh?
What's the significance of the powder house?
Is that the powder house? Eat. Clever. mute this now. What year did you say she died?
Didn't.
Oh, okay.
What do you got?
I asked.
Did you get a number?
No. I mean, no.
It was 1782.
Dang. Because I... Okay. Interesting.
Which is interesting, too, because we will often get the year of her birth, which was 98. 1698.
Interesting.
You might want to have to pull the Trenton over there. I don't think he can hear us. So, unfortunately, the one word that I was hoping would not come up with the word June has come up. So I'm going to tell you guys why I was a little terrified of this story. Every ghost tour takes you across the street over to St. Philip's Church. That's their ending, their big hurrah. Because they have something to show. In June of 1888, a young woman died. Her name was Sue Howard Hardy. We've even gotten her initials on our word list before. Her name is Sue Howard Hardy. What are her initials? It's cheesy, it's campy, but it works because we get it all the time. Now, Sue died 6 days after her stillborn child. 99 years later, we have a photographer in town putting a book together, and he's taking pictures of our beautiful cemeteries all over town. He captures a full apparition in one of his photographs. By the way, if you have a camera, you can put them on pulse right now. Corey, I didn't know if yours.
Dead. You're not recording, right? You're not supposed to be turned off. They're gonna know. I gotta shush. I gotta shush. I got an and. Oh, because you asked. I also got dead back there. Oh, good grave. Oh, dead and grave. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Sorry. Who's Mike? Who's Mike? Oh. Anyone in this room? What's that? Oh, I want to. Heavy? All right. Yeah, that's awesome. That was really cool that we had a conversation. Because I definitely asked, when did he say she died? 84? I definitely got a yes to that. But it wasn't in 84. She was 84. Isn't this the cemetery we went to? I feel like this is the building that scared the shit out of Grant. Isn't it?
The Mills House?
Yeah.
It's a super haunted hotel.
Yes.
Wait, what is this?
Yep. We did a ghost tour, and the boy we were with, he saw something in the window, and it scared the shit out of him.
Really?
Yes.
There's like 1 or 2 rooms or a floor.
Why did I stay there?
Stay wherever you want.
Should I stay there?
I think I'm gonna stay there.
Yeah, it was one of the upper floors. It scared the shit out of him. Like, so much that he wanted to leave the tour. Are you still recording? Corey. Well, I guess it's good because you're getting this, which
That's
helpful.
the cafe.
Cool road.
Yeah, it is. Pretty. We haven't actually gotten any word since we left there, though. Force or horse? Not sure which I heard. Horse. Thank you for clarification. Everybody?
Hand off your word list device over to DENA, and I'll take your spirit box.
As soon as we left the last location, I got a very stern shush. Sorry.
Okay.
And, what was the other word?
Horse.
No, that was when we just walked in here.
It's
Dead,
still phonetically the same.
dead. I got dead too.
Shh, dead. Is
Yep.
that what you got?
Yep.
Okay,
But
I'm writing those down. Anybody else got anything weird leaving that space or coming here?
as soon as we walked in, I said to him, I either got force or horse, and then it clarified it was horse.
Horse.
Yep.
Write down
Focus.
it's dead and kind of explain how this is going to go. So I'm going to hand you to the equipment that we're going to be using. The only thing I'm going to ask is you don't put it on because I'm going to take the rest of these folks over to that monument. And if I'm blindfolding women and walking away, it just never looks good in case somebody's coming into the park. Just don't put anything on it until we come back. And then you're down shushed.
Well, I don't think we'll complain about it, so we'll be alright. Yeah, we'll be alright.
When I hand over this equipment, you guys are just going to become besties for 5 minutes, and I want to keep you in the dark, literally, of what's going on, what you're looking for, because I don't want you searching for anything. My phone's not in there yet, Elena, so don't get too excited. I usually wait until the last minute to put my phone in there, because my wife will sometimes just put it out there, sends me some pictures. I don't need them showing up through the goggles, and I'm like, oh shit, what's happening?
She's a little excited. She's like, let me have your phone.
And I usually tell the gentlemen that are in, like, are going to use it, I'm like, don't worry guys, my wife is on. Like, just tell us what you see. And my wife knows I make these jokes. She doesn't give a shit. But anyway, so that is an origami project, by the way, so if you can figure it out, kudos to you.
Okay, cool.
If not, I got more. Don't worry about it. And it's disposable. Keep your own eye boogers. Same way Trenton's going to keep his own earwax.
Okay.
Trenton, did you hear anything along the way?
I did not.
It's too quiet, man. Like, I keep turning around, like, did you get anything? Did you get anything? And then he's like, where the hell's Trenton go? When we come back, I'll kind of give you guys a few tips and tricks of what to expect in this. That works like a Batman mask. That'll be your clue, like how to put it together.
Okay.
It's kind of, I got more. Happens all the time. So the rest of us, let's go learn this very quick history, and then we're going to come back and talk to the ghost. First and foremost, I should thank you all for making me talk all night, because my mouth actually feels perfectly fine. So it's probably going to start swelling back up again when I get back to the office. Because it was funny, I shut up all damn day. I haven't talked all day unless I had to call one of the dogs. I told the wife, don't even call me on your lunch break. I got to keep my mouth perfectly fine for the tour. And of course, I don't work on drunken holidays, so I won't work tomorrow. So you guys can have fun getting trashed. But anyway, so you guys are all going to play a role when we get over there. Obviously, the communication devices, you're going to be listening in or watching what's going on with them. So with yours, you're going to definitely keep your camera on them the entire time.
Okay.
You're going to have the best shot, because you're not going to have the stickman and the heat signature, but that way they can watch it later. They're not going to get this history from me tonight. They're going to have to wait for the audio, just so you know, because I know Katrina's going to be asking me questions. I'm like, nope, you're going to, I'm like, nope, you got to wait for it. When we do get things over there, if you hear something or something pops up on there, it's okay to tell me what you heard. I'm going to be asking them questions, and you're going to know why some of those questions are relevant, because I'm about to tell you. So the first time I came into this location, because this was the new spot for last year, I only had 2 people. I start usually after Halloween looking for the new space for the following year. Gives me 2 months to investigate it and see what's going on. And the young lady using the spirit box heard, I told her, just tell me whatever you hear, because I don't even know who we're looking for. She heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using the word list because it was only 2 people, and I had the name Tim. This bust behind me is Henry Timrod. He was born in 1828. I was like, well, hot damn, there's my ghost. So we weren't even doing the Estes method yet. Came up with that later. Here's how this goes. Henry was a writer, and he was sick through most of his life. He's old enough to go fight in the Civil War for the Confederates. Obviously, being born in 1828, Civil War was in the 1860s. So he goes out to the battlefield. His comrades realize he's too sick to fight. They sent him home, knowing he was a writer, telling him to go be the voice of the war. They wanted him to tell people what was going on out there on the battlefield. Came home, started writing poetry. Became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy, because it's a pretty prestigious title. Like, he was doing a good thing. So, a couple years go by, he has a son. The son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve, but he does die 9 months later. I know I tell you guys about dead kids all night long, and I'm so sorry about that, but it does happen. But it's obviously very sad for Henry and his wife, Katie. So Katie, her parents are here visiting, and Henry has a friend that's from Charleston. He's another writer, and realizes he's not writing as much. He offers him his cottage in Columbia. That's the middle of the state. He says, go get back on track, man. Leave Katie behind to mourn with her parents, and just let's get you back. So he goes out there and he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38. Wow. Pen in hand. Perfect way for a writer to go. We are here because of that blood stain. It looks like a man writing.
Oh dear.
Desk. Now, with that blood stain. We do call it the blood book, and they show it one day a year at the Charleston Library Society. But you got to be a member of the society to be able to go see it on Halloween, because that's the only day they show it. The internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to go hopefully talk to a ghost. Henry is usually a little timid about coming out, so I usually have to kind of coax him a little bit. Kind of stroke his ego. You guys are going to see that. It's not like he can't hear me right now. Kind of keep that in mind. I'm not the guy like on TV that says, we're going to do this, and then he says, hey, ghost! Like, they can hear us. Like, that's the point. He knows him.
Right as you said his name, I just got right.
Well, not to mention, one of the first questions I ask is, tell us about your occupation. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Here is your blood book.
Whoa.
I'll zoom in on the blood stain. The beholder of brief mortality, by the way, if anybody got the translation of that, it basically means dear person with a short life. And then he coughed and died right there on the page. So, it's kind of poetic all by itself, right? So, cameras with the thermal and the SLS, you can film anywhere you want to. So I'm just basically want this one focused on them two, so that way they can see what's going on when they get their pieces back. I don't separate it, so it'll just be at the end of that video. Again, you guys are going to get 3 videos as it is. Compressing all this stuff takes a little bit of time. And Dana's like, yep, I could just see the head nods. Are we ready to go talk to a ghost? You guys ready? You got anything weird before we go? Okay, let's do it.
LMAO, laughing my ass off.
Yeah, that's morbid.
I'll remember before I get something else in the car.
Alright, so we are going to crowd around pretty tight. So I don't know if another tour is going to be coming through here, especially on drunken St. Patty's Day weekend. I don't like people try to heckle us kind of mentality. Or the other tour is going, what the hell is Nick up to now? Okay, because not all the tours get to see me do this. Alright, so here's how this is going to go. So we're going to start off with yours. You're going to tell me literally everything you hear. In the event that you are speaking too loud, she's going to tap you on the shoulder. Quiet down. We got neighbors. I don't want to piss them off. Okay. When we're done, she's going to tap you on the leg. That means you take off your own gear and don't move. I want to make sure you're not going to be a baby giraffe falling on the ground. Okay. So again, it's not going to feel like 10 minutes to you, but I keep track of this timing. It'll probably feel like 2 to 3 minutes. Again, even yes/no answers are okay in this instance because you don't know what I'm asking. I might ask the ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I expect you to say yes. Okay. So with yours, I would say go ahead and it's blindfold first and headphones, and then obviously you want to make sure you're not touching your volume to make sure you're cheating. You already got the point that this is going to be my phone in there, so dirty pictures, just let us know what they are. The other piece is this is not a 3D in your face, just so you have that idea. It's going to be kind of like a 2D floating in space. So when you do see an image, you just briefly describe it because she can't hear you. So you may be trying to talk over her kind of mentality. And if she's not saying much, I'll ask you further questions. So you're okay. You're good to go.
I'm good?
Yep.
Okay.
So it is 11:27. So I'm going to get this puppy started.
Do you care if I switch with Matt? I want to hear it.
Have at it. It's your night. So, Henry, if you're here, I want you to tell me something about your occupation, please. Henry, I'm setting up the green box. You're going to see like Earth floating in space, and then the picture will kind of show up right above it. Just try not to look down because it'll change the option. We don't want to do that. So just look straight ahead. See, you already got one image coming through.
Yep.
So it's going to be weird. You just have to briefly describe it once you get in there. Your focus is right here in case things are hard. There you go. Henry, we got an image coming through. Is that relative to you, sir?
Are we starting?
Yes.
There is a woman in all black lace that looks like she's sitting at a table.
Okay. What time period is it?
Couldn't really tell you.
Okay.
It looks like the 1800s.
Okay. So we're right on track. Henry, if you're here, give us something more about your occupation, or you can tell us the name of the person that might be in this photograph that we have from the green box.
Ooh, this is a creepy one. There is a very creepy looking man, like in a mask, and his eyebrows are straight up, like you got really bad Botox.
Okay.
And then there's a woman that has black. Her eyes are all black, and then under her nose is all black. Black lipstick, black hair.
Wow. Tissue.
Yeah, she is creepy.
It's weird because there are nights, guys, we haven't gotten any images at all. And then there's other nights.
I got ready to die.
Ready to die.
Ready to die.
And then we just circle back. Continue trying to get names back. Andrew, can you do me a favor? Can you just lift up her ear muff and remind her to tell us what she's hearing?
Remember to tell us what you're hearing.
It said my name is Trelise. Trelise.
Tell us in real time. Henry? Henry? Some people forget that I'm not asking them to remember everything for 10 minutes. I want it in real time.
Nature.
Here we go. She's too loud. I'm not showing. Henry, discuss something about your work.
Given unto you.
Well, we do have your works actually here at the library. Can you tell us what they like to show
Right
about
now.
Right now. Ask us about your work. So we have the word right. It makes sense even though it's out of context. Henry, can you explain who this woman is and these images that we're getting out of the green box?
75.
Makes no sense to me on a 75. Henry, who's the woman? Is this your wife? If so, say the word wife or her name.
14 points.
Henry, did somebody else come here with you tonight? Or were you the only one?
What the hell?
It's nothing off your head. It's not just a meter. Henry, you know I come with respect. I have many ladies up here tonight, a few gentlemen. I know it's a larger group, and I also know it's a Saturday. It's probably been crowded in here for you tonight. But we will come with respect and leave with respect. Just a few answers to kind of verify that you're here, next to your bus.
The picture.
What do you got?
It's a tree. It's a tree and a fence, and it looks like it's
Looking
fall or
for-
winter, and it's a long
Crazy.
pathway with all lit by lamps.
Okay. What kind of lamps?
2.9.
They're all like lamp posts.
We've actually gotten we've gotten triple digits during these sessions. So it's been a while. So
Looking for.
The lamp.
Is this the time she said that? Looking for?
Yeah.
Henry, what are you looking for? I was expecting her to tell me she saw a small building, like your old schoolhouse. You want to talk about when you were a teacher? Henry?
Pickup truck?
I got visit and very talented. That's all.
Very talented and successful.
I got very
Moses
talented
Death.
as well.
What was it, death piece?
I have a picture.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
It's a woman. It's a girl, and she's got her hair swept back a little bit. She looks like she's dressed in pink, like a pink, almost like corset top. She's got a barrette in her hair and short brown hair.
What time period did you say it was?
Gosh, probably 1800s.
And how old would you say this
It looks.
woman
It's
is?
a ballerina. It's a ballerina.
Oh,
Yep, I can see there's a tutu.
okay. Age group? How old is this young lady?
18.
Guys, it's circling pretty tight. These guys are full of haters. Okay, Henry. Back to you, sir.
Moderate.
Not really sure, you're trying to show us things about your wife, but the point I was going to make to these folks is that I know you met your wife when you were her teacher, when she was 16 years old.
Supposed to find.
More about searching. Henry, do you want to talk more about your wife? Odd lots of pictures of young ladies in there. I'm not sure who these folks are yet. Haven't seen the images. Henry.
Intimate terms.
You know, we're running out of time already. We're down to about 4 minutes, Henry.
Lovely.
Intimate and lovely. I'm talking about his wife. Can you give us your wife's first name, please?
Gone away from them.
Henry. Looking for your wife's name.
I don't care.
Trent, you got anything?
Nope.
This poor guy isn't her shit all night.
I never. Hell no.
Henry. Let's move on to a different topic. Let's talk about the subject matter of your work. Can you tell us what that was about? After you were a school teacher. You go out to the battlefield, you come home, what do you do? Anything else? Henry?
Somebody to lean on the song.
Did you need help from somebody? Another writer friend maybe that was here in town?
128, 121.
We are.
2.2.
Henry, did you just give us your birthday? Birthday's December 8th. 128.
Yeah, oh yeah, 128.
Trying.
Trying. Let's talk about your deaths then. Gave us your birthday, I'll take it. You want to talk about your death? How you were sick? Henry, we're down to about a minute.
I have a picture.
Okay. A lot of pictures tonight.
Honestly, it's a bunch of, it looks like military men
Okay.
standing in a long, long, long line.
What color are their uniforms?
They're green, red beret, or yeah, red something. It's a little bit blurry.
Okay.
But yeah, the uniforms are green and they're all standing in very close to each other.
House
in, like, their
living
military
inside?
formation.
Henry, we're going to wrap this up. Can you tell us goodnight? You gave us some military things. I got some vague references.
Joshua, you the man.
Told you could be silly. Henry, last chance.
Oh, picture. It's
I'll be there when I'm ready.
It's a kid. It's a little girl, and then there's a woman next to her, and the little girl's sleeping.
How old is this little girl?
Probably 4,
Okay.
5, 6.
Okay.
Really tall. But she's wearing a pink top, and she's got short hair, brown hair, and then it looks like there's a woman, maybe only half of her face showing, sleeping next to her on this side.
Wow.
And
I like how they always do this. Like we can see what's.
I'm sorry.
Everybody does it. I just think it's funny.
That's all.
45 mean anything?
Team.
No. Henry, I'm going to call it a night, sir.
Didn't say you'd be here when he's ready.
You would. I did. All right, Angel. Let's go ahead and get her tapped out. Elena, go ahead and peel that thing off your face. Neither one of you get up. Doing okay? Does that feel like 10 minutes to you?
No.
How long did it feel?
Like 2 to 3.
Sorry. This is like the only thing I have that messes up your guys' hair. When I bought the blindfolds, I wanted to make sure, like, I figured there were going to be ladies sitting here.
Yeah.
That's why I bought the ones I did instead of the ones that go all the way around. But with this, I'm like, yeah, I can't get around it. All right, so let's take a look at these images. So I'm going to count this as, like, super weird because I'm not really
29.
sure.
I may have messed up. It was a little blurry.
I don't want to do this anymore.
How this goes.
Ah.
So So we're all going to kind of huddle around so you guys can see these images. I'm excited about the 29 and the 2.9 and a couple of the other
128.
Yeah, the 128 is super interesting. She heard the numbers 128. So yeah, don't get up yet, baby giraffe. What are you doing? You're going to fall on your head. I'll go around. Yeah. These ones actually stay pretty small. So I kind of go around. I have to, this is the biggest I can make them, but they all these images will be in your report, just so you guys have this idea of what she was looking at. And why I was asking like time frame. And a lot of that you can tell by the film that it's being, put on. This is obviously some kind of sepia, type mentality. So I don't really see any reference to this. And with all these images,
That came through clear as day.
that is creepy.
Yeah.
Good
I
job.
don't like that one.
I also run all these images through Google Lens. So in case I'm missing something or there's a gun that showed up, like with the military image that she had show up, I'm going to run it through Google Lens to see if it matches up to any specific uniforms. So you've already seen it, so I can skip over you. So
Ew.
Yeah, super creepy, right?
I don't like that one.
I don't like that either.
This is actually kind of a really pretty scene.
The ballet one?
No, the snowy.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah, like that's actually a pretty little.
Did anybody else notice that right before she had that picture, though, she said nature?
Yeah.
We also had Finding and the Path that showed up as well. And when she said path, this one showed up about a minute later too.
Do you feel like there were two people?
Yes.
I feel like there were two people.
Someone was very soft and lovely with their ballerinas and their
Yeah.
children and like very like.
And somebody was mad.
Essentially,
Somebody was very mad because
Mad and
I
mad.
actually had LMAO over there, and I even told him, like, this said LMAO.
Yeah, I seen that.
And I was like, that's like really morbid. Like, and so for the Josh is the man.
Josh
okay.
is the man. Yeah,
So,
Joshua is the man.
I told you guys earlier that Dr. Ladd likes to follow me around. The reason why he likes to show up through these is the house that he lived in at 59 Church Street is literally around the corner. He will chime in. That's why I always ask Dr. Ladd who else came with you. So the new space for this year, we didn't do it tonight because it's Saturday. It's way too noisy for us to do it.
That is ballet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ballerina.
Definitely a ballerina, just she's got a shaved head.
Mm-hmm.
The side of her head's kind of shaved.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, is that a barrette?
Oh,
It just looks different in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to look a little bit different. Military guys.
Just heard laughing.
So the other piece here is that we have a woman named Mary Ravenel that will show up from time to time. I normally talk about her Sunday through Thursday around the corner because we do a live
Yeah, I heard
EVP
laughing.
session. So a live EVP session is a voice recorder that can basically hear a frog fart from 3 miles away. And as I tell about the murder mystery, hopefully the listener will get a disembodied voice coming through. Like, that's the whole hope. So, of course, you need complete silence because when you have all this traffic and drunken idiots walking by...
Yeah, at one point I could hear a car or loud car.
Yeah, so, again, it's really hard to do on this, on Fridays and Saturdays, so I just don't do it. So, I only do Sunday through Thursday. But she will show up from time to time, too. And I actually learned about her by doing this. I got a picture of a woman laying on the ground, and this woman was shot and was on the ground. That's how she was found. So that's how her murder mystery started, but the whole point of that image that came out of this, what I'm showing you right now, was that if you put that image next to a picture of Mary Ravenel, you'd swear they were twins. Like, well, hot damn. Like, pretty interesting piece. So, I'm not going to super count any of these except for our nature picture, only because of the things that were being said in relevant time. Everything else was kind of almost a dud, but as far as the things that were popping up, I'm kind of like, you guys all had a little bit of tinge of something, but we never had any definitive, like, hey, I'm here kind of mentality. I did ask this gentleman about, his occupation. He was a writer, and I do believe you said right here, so I still had the word right in there, even though it was out of context. It's still the same phonetic sound. And we actually had that over there that Matt heard when we were over by the bust. I'm not going to give you the history. You're going to have to wait for the audio to come back to you, or the people that you came with to be able to tell you how this went down. You'll obviously have the full video. For those of you with cameras, go ahead and hit those stop buttons if you haven't already.